full on winter now, so logical next step is to put a heater in the van. This is the Espar Airtronic D2, and it is going to mount right here under the passenger seat, and then the heating will come out right here. The first step is actually going to be to run all my wiring. I want my thermostat up there where the future panel is going to be. Second phase will be mounting the unit, and then the third phase will be tying it into the fuel tank, which is actually running right here under the third passenger seat. So this can be a little intimidating at first because you got a lot of wires. So the first step I like to do is just isolate everything and figure out what I got. I found out through that process that these three are really not going to be used. They're for other control modules, which we are not using, and this one is an analog. So this whole bundle here, which looked like a lot of work, is now not even in play. This is the power and ground that will power the unit off of the battery system. This will run to my control unit, which is the Easy Pro unit. So depending on which unit you have will depend on which system you're using. But like I said, it's just this one. And then over here I have the line that goes to the fuel pump. So for right now, I'm just going to run this line and put my Easy Pro up there, kind of in the general region. Run it all, hide it all. Next step will be mounting the air unit, then the exhaust, and then we'll do the fuel system last. So. Okay, so the heater is in, vent is mounted, chair is back in place. The next step is to put the intake hose, which goes underneath the van. Then after that, we'll do the same thing with the exhaust hose, which we'll cut and we'll insert the muffler in between, just hose clamp it in place. So I brought the electrical up through the post, across the top, over and down, and here is the control unit. Ran the exhaust along the frame member here. Intake comes out right there, and then I mounted the fuel pump right underneath under the side step just in case it was noisy, which it's really quiet, so I think we're going to be good. H1 fuel supply or pump, so we have an error. They said that when you start this up, there's going to be some prime issues. You just got to turn it off, turn it back on, do that 4 or 5 times, and disregard the error. So that was number 3. I'm going to try it a couple more times, see what happens, and hopefully that's probably fuel right there, and that's all air. So we got a little bit of priming to go here. When you can't figure it out, you call a friend, and that's what Ben's for. How you doing under there, Ben?
Oh, just, you know, screwing around.
It's cold out here. You're crawling around under this van, just trying to help a brother out. Nobody will ever forget your greatness. There you go. Josh Nugent. Let's go and see this thing flicker. Oh yeah. Okay, so the heater is in and working. From here I have a blower or heat setting. I'll hit heat. We'll crank it up to, let's say, 70. And then you've got different minute settings. I can set it to indefinite if I want, but I'll set it at 30 right now just to get it on and going. And it'll start to spool up right away. Within the next minute or two, we'll start having hot air blowing out under the passenger seat and heading right to the back. I did a full test yesterday. It was 1 degree outside, and it was able to maintain the temperature in the van at about 56 degrees consistently. I ran it for 8 hours, and as you can see, the van doesn't have any ceiling insulation or paneling creating air spaces. And of course, my flare space is not in, so these are just kind of like a refrigerator box. As well as I didn't have the thermal covers in the front cab, so it was in this exact configuration, and it did really well. Okay, so we got some air movement already, and it'll start to get warm in a second. Let's go out and check out the outside. Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but intake is drawing air right here. Fuel pump is drawing fuel. I can see it moving through. Exhaust is exhausting, and we have hot air blowing inside the van. Yeah, that's beautiful. So that's the Espar Airtronic D2. I'm very happy with that so far. It's nice and quiet. works well. I can set it by time, so auto shuts off, or I can set it to just run continuous. It's a low energy draw both in electric and in diesel usage, so I think this is a good, great system, especially when I get the ceiling insulated and kind of close this in a little better.